So for this session, we are to talk about the taxation of your employment income. So just like any other item of gross income, just like any other item of gross income, we need to learn how to tax this item, whether we should tax it at regular income tax or we tax it at your final tax. So let's just have a quick rundown of your item of gross income and what items are subject to regular income tax and final tax. So the first item of gross income that we learned in taxation are the gains or dealings. Gains or dealings. And we said your gains or dealings are subject to both RIT and final tax. So what are items subject to final tax? You have your CGT on sale of real property considered as capital asset, which is subject to 6%. And then we have your CGT on sale of stock directly to buyer. This is subject to 15%. And then all other items are subject to regular income tax. All other items are subject to regular income tax. Next, we also have your items of passive income. We have your items of passive income. Now, for items of passive income, we learned that some are subject to final tax and some are subject to regular income tax. So your final tax rates differ. So it can be 10% until 20%, 25%, or it can be 30 or 35%, whatsoever rates, depending on the type of passive income. And then we talk about your business or professional income. Business or professional income. So under your business or professional income, what are the items under final tax and regular income tax? So the final tax really is not actually known as final tax, but we call it as your 8% flat rate on gross income. And all others are regular income tax. Now on your compensation income, we will learn that some items are still subject to final tax and some are subject to regular income tax. So what item of your compensation is subject to final tax? We call it your fringe benefits. We call it your fringe benefits to managerial employee. To managerial employees. So only those fringe benefits to managerial employee is subject to final tax. What do we call this final tax? We call it your fringe benefit tax. And other items now is subject to regular income tax. Other items now is subject to regular income tax. So in this particular session, we learn again that in your employment income, we learn that items can be subject to regular income tax and items can be subject to final tax. Okay, so let's start our discussion now on your employment income, and we look as to the different topics that we need to discuss for this particular session. So the following topics: first, we have your employment income. So we need to determine the items of employment income. And then we need to learn how to tax the employment income. So we have already mentioned this one. The taxation of your employment income can either be regular income tax or final tax. And then, of course, hindi mawawala yung income tax filing. How do we file our income in case we are purely a compensation income earner? So how do we file our income tax in case we are a purely compensation income earner? So let's start. So we start our topic by looking at this particular formula. So we have here your taxable compensation income. So how do we compute for your taxable income? To compute for your taxable income, it is equal to your gross compensation income less non-taxable income benefits less mandatory contributions. Now, for your gross compensation income here pertains to the items of compensation income. Items of compensation income. That can either be irregular compensation, a supplemental compensation, or other benefits. It can be irregular compensation, a supplemental compensation, or other benefits. So later, we will learn that in this particular item, we need to discuss these three items. So what are those three items? First, your regular compensation, then your supplemental compensation, and your other benefits. So we need to determine what items here should be included. So what are the items of regular compensation included for your gross compensation income? What items of supplemental compensation should be included in your gross compensation income? And then what items of other benefits should be included on your gross compensation income? Okay, so here we have three forms of compensation income: regular compensation, supplemental compensation, and other benefits. After that, after we compute our gross compensation income, we get for your non-taxable income benefits. Non-taxable income benefits. So what are these non-taxable income benefits? Actually, we also have three non-taxable income benefits. So first, non-taxable income benefits are your retirement or separation pay. Retirement or separation pay. Next, non-taxable income benefits. We have your the minimi benefit, the minimi benefit. And then we have lastly your 13th month pay and other benefits not exceeding 90,000. Not exceeding 90,000. So we will also discuss, after we discuss gross compensation, we discuss your non-taxable income benefits. And what should you expect for your non-taxable income benefits? We will discuss these three. First, we discuss your retirement or separation pay. Why is it a non-taxable income benefit? Or when is it a taxable income benefit? So we need to determine when is this retirement or separation pay taxable or non-taxable. Next, the minimi benefit. We again need to determine whether that the minimi benefit is taxable or non-taxable. And then we have your 13th month pay and other benefits not exceeding 90,000. So this number three is easier to understand later as compared to the first and the second one. But overall, compensation income actually is just like your other topics, way more easier to understand rather than the other topics. But I hope we will appreciate more the taxation of our compensation income, especially most individuals get their income through compensation. So most individuals get their income through compensation, so you need to know how to tax that compensation. Lastly, we have your mandatory contributions. So we need to look as to the items of mandatory contributions that are deductible. So what are these mandatory contributions and what items can be deducted? So again, in this particular session, we need to determine these items: your gross compensation income, your non-taxable income benefits, mandatory contributions until we go to your taxable income. Okay? So before anything else, we need to determine the taxability of employees. So how do we tax your employees? So as to your taxability of employees, we only look whether the employee is an MWE or regular employee. Sir, what do we mean by MWE? MWE is known as your minimum wage earner. This is known as your minimum wage earner. Okay. So, who is a minimum wage earner? A minimum wage earner is an individual recipient of a minimum wage as fixed by RTWPB of the DOLE. Okay. So, you already know DOLE. DOLE is Department of Labor and Employment. And generally, DOLE is in charge as to any issue regarding employment. Now, DOLE also has the power to fix the rate or compensation per region. DOLE can fix the rate of compensation per region. So DOLE through RTWPB. Sir, what is RTWPB? Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board. Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board. So what happens here in your RTWPB? The RTWPB will set a minimum daily wage rate. You will set, the RTWPB will set a minimum daily wage rate that is applicable per region. Kaya nga ang tawag dito is Regional Tripartite Wages Productivity Board because it is applicable per region. It is not applicable for the whole country but per region. So for example, the minimum wage is different in Manila and as to Baguio. The minimum wage in Region 2 is different as to the minimum wage in Baguio. So these differences is brought by your RTWPB. So if ever the employee is receiving the minimum wage fixed by RTWPB, we call him MWE. Okay. Sir, can it be below minimum wage? So for example, in Baguio, sir, RTWPB placed that the minimum wage is 470 per day. So if ever the employee is receiving 470 per day, we can consider that employee as minimum wage earner. Okay? Because he is a recipient of a minimum wage that is fixed by RTWPB. That is the meaning of MWE. So the RTWPB will set a particular daily wage rate, and if ever you receive that daily wage rate, you are considered MWE. So, sir, can I receive a lesser amount? So, for example, uh, the set amount is 470 and I will be given only 400 pesos. Is that possible? The answer is no, that is not possible. Why? From the word itself, it is the minimum wage rate. So that is the lowest wage that you must receive. In case you have an employer who pays you the amount which is lesser than the minimum wage, then you can complain that employer to the DOLE. Okay? So, bawal yun eh. Kailangan, bayaran ka, lowest is yung minimum wage. Okay? So, you are MWE if you receive minimum wage. If you are not receiving minimum wage, you are considered a regular employee. If you are not receiving the minimum wage, you are considered a regular employee. Now, how do we tax your MWE? Your MWE is tax exempt. Your MWE is tax exempt. So, MWE is exempt from tax including Honsha. Sir, what is Honsha? Honsha means holiday pay, overtime pay, night shift differential pay, and then we have your hazard pay. Holiday, overtime, night shift, hazard. Okay, Honsha. So, sir, why is our compensation income earner who is considered MWE exempt? Because that particular amount of salary is only enough to sustain the person or individual. If you tax it, if you tax it, mas lalo na siyang kawawa. So, kumbaga, enough lang yung amount na yon for him to sustain his life, and then you will still tax it, kawawa na siya. Now, for your MWE, he is exempt for all compensation, including Honsha. What is this Honsha? Honsha, holiday, overtime, night shift, and hazard pay. So, what are these items of Honsha? These are premium payments because of extra work done. So what is a holiday pay? Holiday pay is given to the employee in case the employee worked during a holiday. In case the employee worked during the holiday, you are given a holiday pay. So for example, on November 30, so November 30 is considered a holiday. So for example, on November 30, you will work. So that is a non-working holiday, but you work. Therefore, you have an extra premium amount We call it your holiday pay. You will have an extra premium amount. We call it your holiday pay. Next, overtime pay. When do we have an overtime pay? You will have an overtime pay in case, guys, that you will work beyond your normal working hours. So what is the normal working hours? It depends on your contract. So let's say your normal working hours is 8 to 5 p.m. 8 to 5 p.m. and you work after 5 p.m. So let's say 6 p.m., 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. nagwork ka. So 6 to 8 p.m. is your overtime. Because of that extra work made, you will have a premium known as overtime pay. Next, we have your night shift differential pay. Night shift differential pay. So what is this night shift differential pay? This is given as a premium to employees who work at night shift. These are given to employees who work at night shift. So, sir, what is night shift? Is it really during the night, from the time you work at night until you finish? Or is it a particular time? So, normally, let's say your shift is from 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. So, let's say that is your shift, 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. So, since you work at night, is that 11 p.m. to 8 a.m. paid with a night shift differential? No. Under the law, you will only receive a night shift differential pay. You will receive a night shift differential pay only if you work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Okay. So you will, if you work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., you will receive night shift differential pay. So in 11 p.m. to 8 a.m., will you be paid for a night shift differential? Yes. But again, it will start at 10 p.m. So pasok ba yung 11 p.m.? Yes. And only until 6 a.m. So ang babayaran mo lang na night shift dito is yan, 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Kasi ang pay, papasok lang when it's 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. Before that and after that particular period, wala nang night shift differential pay. So only during those periods from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. you pay a night shift differential. So sir, how about if I work from 3 p.m. to 12 midnight? 3 p.m. to 12 midnight. When will your night shift differential pay starts? At 10 p.m. So from 10 p.m. to 12 midnight, you will have a night shift differential pay. Ganun lang siya. Okay? So, when do we pay the night shift differential? From 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in case you work during a night shift. Next, hazard pay. This is a premium given to the employee because of the risk of the work of the employee. So the different risks as to the work of the employee leads to this particular pay. We call it your hazard pay. We call it your hazard pay. So an example of your hazard pay is for your nurses as of this particular time. So nurses is exposed of different diseases, or especially if ever you are in the COVID area, nurses are exposed or possibly exposed to diseases, especially COVID nowadays. So, in view of that hazard in the work, they are given a hazard pay because of the risk that they might get any disease because of their work. They are given hazard pay. Another example of an employee who is given hazard pay, traffic enforcers. Because of the nature of the job of a traffic enforcer, there is always a risk that he might be run down by a particular vehicle, or baka masagasaan siya, or baka masabit siya ng kahit anong vehicle dyan. So because of that risk, you are given a hazard pay. So this Honsha are different payments given to an employee, premium payments given to your employee because of certain instances. So holiday pay because you work on a holiday, overtime pay because you work overtime, night shift because you work from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then you have your hazard pay because of the risk of your work. So if you have your compensation income and you are MWE and you receive any of this Honsha, you are exempt. Now, how about for the other compensation of your MWE. How do we tax the other compensation of your MWE? So here, as you can see, the other compensation or other income is subject to tax. So for example, guys, we have here your MWE. He has a compensation at the same time he has a business. A compensation and he has a business. Remember, the compensation of MWE is exempt. How about your business? This will be now taxable. How do we tax it? Based on the rules provided under the taxation of your business or professional income. So this business is taxable based on the rules provided. Now, guys, we have a rule regarding your MWE that if there is a change in status of MWE is accounted or taxed based prospectively. So change in status of MWE is taxed prospectively. So what do we mean by a change of status? So for example, you are an MWE during this period, and then now you are a regular employee. What did we say? The change in status of MWE is taxed prospectively. Therefore, during your MWE period, you are exempt. At the time you are a regular employee, you are taxed at regular income tax. So if you are MWE, you are exempt. At the time you are a regular employee, you are taxed at regular income tax. Sir, how about if I am a regular employee and then I change to MWE? How do we again tax this MWE? We tax the MWE prospectively. Therefore, during the period of regular employee, is still taxed at regular income tax. If during the period MWE, tax exempt. Okay? So the change in status of MWE, whether to MWE or from MWE, is taxed prospectively. So long as during the period you are MWE, you are exempt. So long as during the period you are MWE, you are exempt. Okay? So I hope we are clear. In case, guys, you have a problem and then nakita ninyo agad, MWE receiving blah, blah, blah. Ah, okay. Yung compensation nito, exempt. Paano yung iba? Can be taxed. Clear? How about pag sinabing hindi siya MWE? Eh di, regular employee siya. Sir, paano naman kung regular employee siya? Papasok na yung sinabi natin kanina na pwede siyang RIP, pwede rin siyang final tax. Ano lang uli yung final tax natin? Nag-iisa, di ba? That is your fringe benefits to managerial employee. Fringe benefits to managerial employee. Okay, so as early as now, please place in your minds that MWE is exempt as to compensation. And whether there is a change of the status, so long as during a period he became an MWE, that MWE during the period is exempt because the change in status of MWE is taxed prospectively. So here, MWE to regular employee during the period that he is MWE exempt. Regular employee to MWE during the MWE period exempt because we said MWE is exempt from tax including HONSHA, while irregular employee is always taxable either at regular income tax or at final tax. Okay? So guys, in case guys you are presented again with a problem that says he is MWE exempt, okay? Now we go with your forms of compensation income. We have already started this a while back. I told you that your gross compensation income is composed of three items. We have your regular compensation, your supplemental compensation, and your 13th and other benefits. Now, so what are these regular and supplemental compensation? Actually, this regular or supplemental compensation is known as your remuneration. Remuneration. And then this 13th and other benefits are in the form of your fringe and your de minimis. Okay. So forms of compensation income provided under the tax code. So under tax code, you have these items of compensation income. We start first with the name by which the remuneration for services is designed. So if ever it is a compensation for services or remuneration for services, it is considered a compensation income. So what does this particular napakahabang provision provides? So this is a provision under the law. Sobrang haba niya. Pero ano bang ibig sabihin niya? Ano man daw yung sinabi na pangalan ng remuneration or compensation for services is still compensation income. So ibig sabihin niya, kahit daw tawagin mo siyang salary, wages, emolument, or honoraria, or allowance, or commission, lahat yan ang tawag pa rin ay compensation income. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng napakahabang linya na yan. Okay? So on your compensation income, again, regular and supplemental, whatever is the term used, so long as it is a payment for services, it is considered a compensation income. Next, we have your fringe benefits mentioned under Section 33B will not form part of the compensation income, but they will be subject to fringe benefit tax. So what is this again? We have already discussed this. Although we did not discuss it, we mentioned it, by the way. We mentioned it. These are your fringe benefits to managerial employee. Okay. And then we have your de minimis benefits exempt by law under Section 33, Paragraph C, Subparagraph 4. So here, we will discuss the minimis benefits, or these are small amount of benefits which are exempt by law. So these are the items that we will discuss purely on your compensation income. And I hope I made it clear already since the introduction of our discussion. Okay, so to formally understand these forms of compensation income, I presented it this way. So your compensation income is any remuneration for services performed by employee. So any remuneration received by the employee is known as a compensation income unless it is excluded. So what are the items excluded again? We have discussed this. We have your three items. We have your retirement or separation pay. Then we have again your the minimis benefits and your 13th and other benefits not exceeding 90,000. So this one we will discuss later. Okay. So as I said, your compensation income is composed of three items. First, we have your regular compensation. This is the amount of your salary or your wage. Next, we have your supplemental compensation. These are other remunerations aside from your basic salary or wage. So kumbaga, pag napapansin nyo, if ever to those who are working, if you have here your basic salary, that is your regular compensation. So normally, pag nag-work na kayo, magtatanong kayo, Sir, how much is my basic? So yun yung regular compensation nyo. Tapos, eto pa yung supplemental nyo, yung iba pang ma-receive nyo aside from your regular compensation. Other items that you will receive aside from your regular compensation. So basic salary or basic wage is known as your regular compensation. Other items you receive instead of or aside from your basic salary is known as your supplemental compensation. And what are those? First is your honsha. We discussed this one already. So we have your holiday, overtime, night shift, and hazard pay. So these are premium for work services performed aside from your regular work. Okay. Next, you have your fees, commission, emoluments, and honoraria. So fees and commissions normally have the same connotation. This normally is provided in case you are in the sales industry. So normally, pasok to sa sales industry. Alam niyo yung meron kayong minimit na quota o kaya may nabenta ka tapos may marireceive kang amount out of the sale na nabenta mo. So, for example, you are in a real estate industry. So if you sell a particular real estate, you will receive a particular amount that will form part of your compensation. We call that one your commission. We call that one your commission. So fees or commissions. Next, emoluments is a general term for any other payments given to an employee, while honoraria is given to a particular employee because of work performed outside his services. So, for example, you are you are a researcher in your company, and you are used by the company for a particular presentation. You are used by the company for a particular presentation of a product. So that is outside of your work. Normally, a company will pay you honoraria because of that extra work performed. So honoraria siya. Sir, what's the difference of your holiday, overtime, night shift, and hazard? Yun kasi for a particular holiday, overtime, night shift, or hazard. Itong honoraria, binayaran ka lang talaga kasi nga gumawa ka ng bagay na outside your work. Ganon. Okay, honoraria. Next, you have your retirement and separation pay. So what is this retirement or separation pay? Retirement, of course, is given in case you retire out of the business or the corporation. So for example, you have already reached a particular age and you felt that you are already fulfilled with your professional goals and you want to separate with the business already, you can retire. When we say retire, you stop from working already. So retirement. How about a separation pay? A separation pay is just a termination of your employment with one company, and normally in your termination, you are provided for a pay. We call that separation pay or termination pay. So umalis ka lang, so baka nag-resign ka or anumang rason, binayaran ka, ang tawag doon ay separation pay. So these retirements and separation pays are still part of your compensation income. Next, we have your profit sharing and taxable bonuses. So this applies to compensation income as compensation income of those who work most probably in your partnership firms. So they are already working at the same time, they receive profit sharing and bonuses. So what are these profit sharing? So this profit sharing is an amount shared out of the net income of the company. So a percentage is shared to you. We call that your profit sharing. How about bonuses? Bonuses due to maybe you met a certain quota or whatsoever. So whatever is the reason of giving bonuses, we include it here. We still consider it a supplemental compensation. Just take note, guys, any other compensation, which is not your basic salary, is a supplemental compensation. And those items will still be included as part of your compensation income. Next, we have your exercise of stock option. So I don't know if you ever heard of this company who provided for stock option plans to his employees. So it's a new company actually. After 3 years, dun sila nag-boom. So as a result of that, ang ginawa niya, binigyan niya ng stock option yung mga empleyado niya. Sir, what is a stock option? A stock option is a right to purchase stocks of a corporation at a particular price. So it is the right to purchase stocks of a corporation at a particular price, a stock option. So since it is the right, you may or may not exercise it. So if you purchase stocks of a corporation, then you exercise it. If you did not purchase, then you did not exercise it. Okay. Now, what is this exercise of stock option? Why do we consider here what do we consider here a supplemental compensation? What we consider as a supplemental compensation for the exercise of your stock option is the difference between the fair value of the stock and the exercise price. Take note, you can purchase the stocks at a particular price. Sir, what is this particular price? That is your exercise price. Okay, so for example, so A corporation provided B an employee 5,000 stock options to purchase 1 share for every option for 30 pesos. On October 28, 2020, B exercised the option. The fair value of the share is 45. Okay. So here in the exercise of stock option, remember you are given a stock option. What is a stock option? That is the right to purchase stocks of a corporation at a particular price. Now, with the exercise of stock option, what is really taxable? What we tax here again is the change as or the difference between the fair value of the stocks and the exercise price. So let's have this as an example. A corporation provided B, an employee, 5,000 stock options to purchase 1 share for every option for 30 pesos. So each option, 1 share. So ilang shares din ang mabibili niya? Kung meron siyang 5,000 stock option, tapos isang option, isang share, how many shares then? 5,000 shares ang mabibili niya. At what price? At 30 pesos. So 5,000 times 30 will give us 150,000. B, exercise the option. The fair value of the share is 45. So what is the fair value? 5,000 shares multiplied by 45. We have here how much? 225,000. 225,000. Now the difference between the fair value of the stock and the exercise price, which is 75,000, will be included as compensation income. So yun yung ibig sabihin dito sa exercise of stock option. It is not really the whole stock option that is taxable, but what is taxable is the extra amount given to your employee because the employee was given a discount price as compared to the actual price of this stock. So the actual price of the stock is 45. Yung employee, nabili niya lang at 30. So kino-consider ng tax code na yung difference doon ay taxable. It is considered as compensation. So yung 75,000 na difference is considered as compensation income. So take note of this, ha? Exercise of stock option. Hindi yung buong exercise ang idadagdag as compensation, but only the difference between the fair value and the exercise price. And then we also have your 13th month pay and other benefits that we will discuss later. What are the components of this 13th month pay and your other benefits? Okay, so again, what are the items of compensation income? Regular, supplemental, and 13th month pay. So let's have a quick recap on our formula. So our formula is gross compensation income less non-taxable less mandatory contributions. So ano na yung tapos natin? We're done with your gross compensation income. Of course, what comes next is the taxation or the treatment of your non-taxable compensation and your mandatory contributions. Okay? Now, we go to the next item of our formula. Okay? So, recap on our formula. Iulit-ulit ko tong formula na to para ulit-ulitin din ng utak ninyong ma-memorize siya. Ang formula natin ay gross compensation income less non-taxable less your mandatory contributions. Done here, we go now here. So non-taxable income benefits. So for your non-taxable income benefits, before we start, I want you to remember this rule. What is the rule? It must meet the requirements so that it is non-taxable. It must meet the requirements so that it is non-taxable. But if not, it is taxable. If not, it is taxable. Here, guys, the rule here is that the exempt, retirement, pension, or termination, and the minimi benefits should be excluded on gross income. while your 13th month pay and other benefits not exceeding 90,000 is included in gross income and subsequently deducted. Okay? Ulitin natin. Non-taxable income benefits. It must meet the requirements under the law so that it is considered non-taxable. And if not, it is taxable. So here we have three items non-taxable income benefits. So in our introduction, I already provided this one. So the three items are your exempt retirement, pension, or termination benefits. And then you have your de minimis benefits. And then you have your 13th month pay and other benefits. So the rule is that under 1 and 2, your exempt retirement, pension, termination, and the minimum benefits, we exclude these items on the gross income. Meaning, hindi natin siya ilalagay dito sa gross compensation income. Nasusundan, hindi natin siya ilalagay sa gross compensation income pagka nalaman mong exempt retirement yan, pension or termination. At saka, the minimis benefits yan. Okay, excuse me. So, pagka guys, exempt retirement yan or the minimis benefits yan, excluded on gross income, kaya siya tinawag na excluded on gross income kasi hindi natin idadagdag siya sa gross compensation income. Pero yung 13th month pay and other benefits is included in gross income and subsequently deducted. Okay, so we start with your exempt retirement, pension, or termination benefits. So what do we mean by this exempt retirement or pension or termination benefits? So these are your retirement or separation pay. Na-discuss natin ito kanina. Retirement or separation pay. So retirement, normally, you also have your pension. So what is the difference between a retirement and a pension? In your retirement, this is received at the time of retiring. So pagka nag-retire ka sa business, makukuha mo agad yan. Ano naman yung pension? Yan yung either monthly or yearly na mare-receive mo after your retirement. So how do we treat both retirement and pension? And how about your termination? Termination benefits, this is termination pay or separation pay. This is paid due to the separation or termination of your contract to your employer. Discuss natin yan kanina kung anong meaning yan. So, kailan siya exempt? Kailan siya exempt? We start first with your retirement or pensions. When is it exempt? Remember this rule, 5110, 5110, 5110. Okay, so it's like a cell phone, 5110. So what does your 5110 means? 50 years of age. At 50 years of age, you retired. It is your first time to retire, for one. 50 means you retired at 50 years old. One, first time to retire. 10, you are at least 10 years in the company. RP is a retirement plan. Normally, we do not look as to our retirement plan kasi halos lahat naman ng retirement plan ay halos naman lahat may retirement plan. So, ang tinitignan lang talaga natin is yung 5110. So, you must retire at the age of 50. It is your first time to retire and you work into the company for 10 years. 50 years old, first time to retire, you work in the company for 10 years. If you meet these three requirements, you are non-taxable. If not, you are taxable. Clear? Example, A retired from A retired from XYZ Corporation at the age of 60. He received 3 million pesos as retirement pay. Retirement pay. He retired from XYZ Corporation at the age of 60. He received 3 million as retirement pay. A worked for 8.5 years in XYZ. Question, is it taxable or non-taxable? So, You retire, A retired, age of 60. So we go back to our rule. What is the rule? 5110. Age is at least 50, check. First time to retire, let's say first time niya mag-retire. Work in the company for at least 10 years, X. Kasi 8.5 years lang. Ano din? This is taxable. So should we exclude it or not? No. You include it in your gross compensation income. Okay? Sabi kasi natin, it must meet the requirements so that we exclude it. If not, it is taxable. Then we include it if in case it is taxable. That's why dito, may chance na yung retirement or separation pay idadagdag. Kasi pwede siyang taxable pa rin. Pwede siyang taxable pa rin. Retirement and separation pay. Okay. Retirement pay, remember of that. Retirement or pension, 5110. If hindi na-meet yung 5110, then wala tayong magagawa kundi dadagdag yan as part of your gross compensation. Next, we have your termination or separation. So this termination or separation, what is the rule? It must be beyond the control of the employee. It must be beyond the control of the employee. So what do we mean by this? You are paid a termination or separation pay not because you just want to separate with the business. So ang ibig sabihin lang nito, kailangan hindi ka nag-separate sa business dahil kasalanan mo. Kailangan gawa ni employer. So for example, you resign from the business, that's your reason. So you receive a separation pay. Sino nag-resign? Ikaw, gawa mo. So it is within your control. It is within your control. Kasi sabi natin, kailan siya magiging exempt? Yung termination is exempt if it is beyond the control of the employee. So, dun sa example natin, you resign. You just want to resign. And you receive a termination or separation pay. Question, gawa ba ni empleyado yon or hindi? Gawa ni empleyado. Dahil gawa ni empleyado, taxable, non-taxable. Taxable. Kasi sabi natin, kailan lang siya exempt? Pagka it is beyond the control of the employee. So in short, if ever, determination is done by the employer, then it is non-taxable. It is non-taxable. Example, we have your retrenchment. Ay usong-uso to ngayon, retrenchment. So 'di ba ang daming nagre-retrench. Sinong may kasalanan ng retrenchment? Siyempre hindi gawa ni empleyado. Decision yan ni employer. So exempt or taxable? Exempt kasi nga it is already beyond the control of the employee. Okay? So, retrenchment, redundancy, mga ganun. Sir, ano naman yung redundancy? So, halimbawa, ikaw nagwo-work ka as an accountant, tapos may iba pa palang accountant. So, redundant na yung position mo. Tatanggalin ka ni employer. So, pag tinanggal ka, pwede kang bayaran ng termination pay. Since ang nagtanggal naman sa'yo ay si employer, kasalanan ni employer at hindi mo kasalanan, then it is non-taxable. Sir, how about if tinanggal ako ni employer kasi lagi akong late? Tapos meron akong termination pay. O who has the reason or what is the ultimate reason why you are terminated? It is because of you. Therefore, it is taxable. Okay? So tignan niyo if it is controlled by the employee or not. If it's controlled by the employee, that's why you separated or terminated, taxable. If it's beyond the control, it is non-taxable. Okay? And then we have your de minimis benefits and your 13th month pay and other benefits not exceeding 90,000. So we will discuss these two items after our short break. Okay? So we resume. Before we had your break, we stop at the minimi benefits. So we start now with the minimi benefits. So what is a de minimis benefit? So as I told you a while back, a de minimis benefit is a benefit of a small amount. So in looking for or taxing your de minimis benefit, what is the rule? So for the amount provided by law, it is exempt. The excess is included as an item of gross income. The excess is included as an item of gross income. Again, here the minimum benefit, how do we treat it? The amount provided by law, it is considered exempt. Now, the excess will be included as an item of gross income. Okay, so the minimum benefits are different benefits provided by your employers to your employees at small amount, and a portion of it, or the law provides for a maximum amount of these benefits given to your employees, whether monthly, yearly, or daily. So let's look as to this different the minimum benefits. We start first with letter A. These are vacation leave credits of private employees not exceeding 10 days during the year. So here we have a vacation leave credits. What do you mean by vacation leave credits? These are leave credits that can be used by the employee. So what do we mean if ever it is monetized and used? When we say monetized and used, the unused leave credits will be paid by the employer. So for example, guys, you have a vacation leave credits of 15 days per year. And then during the year, tinatamad kang mag-leave. So nag-leave ka lang ng 3 days. Nag-leave ka ng 3 days. So ilan yung natira? Yung natira, ang tawag dyan ay unused. So how much is the unused and vacation leave credits? 15 less 3 days, you have 12 days vacation leave remaining. So what do we mean by monetize? Kasi alam na natin yung unused. Unused vacation leave is the remaining vacation leave for the employee. While monetize, what do we mean? When we say monetize, that is the value that will be paid by the employer to the employee based on the daily wage. So we have a 12 days vacation leave, right? So for example, our daily wage is 700 per day. So when we say monetize, the total amount, which is equal to your unused vacation leave multiplied by your wage, this is your monetized unused vacation leave. Okay? So your unused vacation leave multiplied by the wage is known as your monetized unused vacation leave. So here, we have 12 days vacation leave unused, right? Our daily wage is 700. 700. So how much? So 12 days times 700 will give us 8,000. 8,000 ba? Yeah, 8,400. 8,400. So sabi dito, the minimum benefits not exceeding 10 days during the year. So ano? Kailangan hindi siya mag-exceed ng 10 days. Anong rule? Sabi natin, the amount provided by law is exempt, any excess is taxable. So 12 days yan, di ba? 12 days. Ano yung amount provided by law? 10 days. So yung 10 days, exempt. Yung 2 days ay taxable. 2 days ay taxable. So magkano yung include natin? Sabi natin, the excess is included as an item of gross income. So ano lang i-include natin? Yung 2 days. 2 days times 700 is 1,400. So yan lang yung include natin as an item of gross income. Okay? The minimum benefits, these are small benefits provided by the employer to your employee. And how do we treat it? The amount provided by law is exempt, meaning non-taxable, while the excess is included as an item of gross income. So in our example, we have 12 days unused vacation leave. So the 10 days is exempt, the 2 days is taxable. Sir, what if my unused vacation leave is only 9 days? If your unused vacation leave is 9 days, then it is exempt kasi up to 10 days ang exempt. Less than 10 days yan, di exempt yung buo. Ganun lang naman yun. Basta ang rule, amount provided by law, less than or equal to it is exempt. And excess included as an item of gross income. Take note, vacation leave for the year. So this is yearly. Yearly. Letter A is yearly. Letter B, monetized value of vacation and sick leave. So this is different naman. Ngayon, pwedeng vacation, pwedeng sick leave. Ito, 10 days then. 10 days. And this is applicable only to government officials or employees. So mag-ingat kayo guys ha. Private employees, what can only be a part of your de minimis, that is your monetized unused vacation leave. But for government employees, it is your vacation leave, and at the same time your sick leave, 10 days. So this is yearly again. Next, medical cash allowance to dependents of employees. Take note, this cash allowance is given to dependents of employees. Sir, who are the dependents of the employee? So for example, the son or daughter of the employee, the spouse of the employee, so yung asawa ni employee, yung parents ni employee, they can be considered dependents. If the company will provide a medical cash allowance not exceeding 1.5 per employee per semester of 250 per month. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Ang gulo ng wording ng doon, no? Ibig sabihin yan, 1.5 per semi-annual year. Semester means 6 months. Semester is 6 months. So 1.5 divided by 6 is 250 per month. If I were you, you would rather memorize 250 per month. So medical cash allowance to dependents of employees, 250 per month. So take note, this one is monthly. This one is monthly. So let's have an example. So let's say you have 10,000 employees. You have 10,000 employees. Each employee was given 400 pesos medical cash allowance to dependents. Okay. 10,000 employees. Each employee was given 400 pesos medical cash allowance to dependents. So 400 yung kanilang de minimis benefit each, right? Kasi ang de minimis benefit is per employee yan, per employee. So tignan mo per employee, magkano? 400, tama? 400. Ano lang yung amount provided by law? 250. 250. So they are given 400 per month. So monthly yan. They are given 400 per month. Eh 250 lang yung limit. So ano mangyayari dun sa extra? The extra of 150 is taxable. Taxable. So anong gagawin natin dyan? We add it on your gross income. We add it on your gross income. So sir, paano namin i-add yan? 150 lang? Kasi monthly yan, di ba? How many months in a year? 12. So ang gagawin nyo pagka monthly, 150 times 12. So yan yung idadagdag nyo as gross income. Okay, tandaan yung rule. Amount provided by law, exempt, excess ng de minimis, included as an item of gross income. So medical cash allowance, 250 per month. Monthly yan. Yung yearly kasi, hindi mo na kailangan i-multiply yan ng 12. Kasi nga, per year na yan. Itong letter C, monthly kasi. Next, rice subsidy, 2,000 per month. So ito, monthly na naman. Monthly na naman. So your rice subsidy must not exceed 2,000 per month. 2,000 per month. So for example, you provided for a rice subsidy for employee. So employee A receive a rice subsidy monthly. The cost of the rice subsidy is 2,500 per month. So out of that 2,500, what is the amount provided by law? 2,000. So the 2,000 is exempt. And then the excess of 500 is taxable. Since monthly yan, i-multiply mo by 12 para makuha mo yung annual amount niya. So 6,000, you include it in your compensation income. Sir, what if ang binigay ng problem? So A, receive a rice subsidy. Total annual value is 34,000. Total annual value is 34,000. Paano kung ganyan lang yan? Magkano ulit yung per month natin? 2,000. Okay. So kung 34,000 yan guys, 2,000 lang per month. So 2,000 times 12 months, 24K. How much is the remainder? 10,000. 10,000 yung taxable. So kanina yung example natin is nagbigay ng amount per month. Ngayon, binigay yung annual amount. So, tanggalin mo yung annual exempt, which is 2,000 per month. So, 2,000 times 12, 24. 34 less 24, we have 10,000 remainder. Okay? So, take note, rice subsidy is, again, monthly. Rice subsidy is monthly. Next, uniform and clothing allowance, 6,000 per annum. So, this is yearly. Yearly na to, guys, ah. I emphasize yearly and monthly because I want you to not make the mistake of multiplying it to 12 or not multiplying it to 12 because only that you memorize the amounts. Kailangan alam ninyo kung yung de minimi is for monthly or for yearly. Importante na alam nyo yung amount, pero importante din na alam nyo kung monthly or yearly yan. So uniform or clothing allowance is 6,000 per year. So here, guys, excess is, again, item of gross income. So if you are given 7,500 clothing allowance, 6,000 ay exempt daw. Tapos yung 1,500 ay item of gross income. Nasundan? That's letter E. Letter F, medical assistance, 10,000 per annum. So this is, again, yearly. Sir, what is the difference of letter C from letter F? For letter C, it is only given to your dependents of employees. Meaning, hindi kay empleyado mismo yan. Ito kasi, itong letter F, pwede kay empleyado mismo. So, binigyan mo sa empleyado, if it does not exceed 10,000, exempt. But if it's more than 10,000, the excess is included as an item of gross income. Nasundan? Next, laundry allowance. This is monthly. Laundry allowance, 300 per month. So in case, guys, you are given a laundry allowance, any amount which is equal or less than to 300 pesos is considered exempt. In excess, then we need to place that to your gross income. Sundan lang yung rule natin, ha? Yung amount provided by law, exempt. Yung excess, item of gross income. Ingat lang kung monthly yan or yearly. Ingat lang kung monthly yan or yearly. Other de minimi benefits. Next, Employee Achievement Award, 10,000. This is, again, yearly. So these are different awards given to your employees normally if ever they reach a certain years of service. So let's say 5 years of service, 10 years of service, tapos binibigyan sila ng amount, yun ay Employee Achievement Awards. So 10,000 yung ating amount. Yun yung ating amount. Okay? Next, gifts given during Christmas and major anniversary celebrations. 5,000. So gifts, Christmas, and anniversary celebrations, 5,000. So yearly ulito. Yearly yan. Next, daily meal allowance for overtime work and night or graveyard shift. Oh, ito ang bago. Daily meal allowance, overtime work, and night or graveyard shift. 25% of the basic minimum wage. So this is daily. So this must be only given in case of overtime work or night shift. Take note, it must be 25% of daily wage. So for example, on one of your overtime work, so you have a 1 day overtime work, you are given a 400 peso meal allowance. You are given a 400 peso meal allowance. So how do we treat that? So first, you need to know the daily wage. So let's say the daily wage of the employee is 1,000. Sabi dito, 25% of the basic minimum wage on a per region basis is treated as your exempt amount. So let's say ang minimum wage daw ay 1,000 din. Okay. So kung 400 pesos yan, 25% of 1,000 is 250. Yan yung exempt. Tapos, yung extra na 150 ay taxable. Masundan? So daily meal allowance, kailangan yung meal allowance na yan. Meal allowance given for overtime or night or graveyard shift. Pagka hindi, then it is not considered a de minimis. Kailangan for overtime or night shift. Ano yung ating minimum? 25% of the minimum wage. 25% of the minimum wage. So let's say our minimum wage is 1,000. 25% is 250. So exempt. So kung 400 yan, less 250, 150 ay taxable. 150 ay taxable. That's for letter J. Letter K, benefits received because of a CBA, which is not exceeding 10,000 per employee. So this is again yearly. Okay? So guys, in your de minimis benefits, you just need to know what are the items of de minimis, and of these items of de minimis, guys, how much is exempt and how much should be included as an item of our gross income. And determine whether it is yearly, monthly, daily. Okay? Ingat kayo doon. Ingat kayo doon. So, again, what is the rule on our de minimis? What is the rule on our de minimis? The amount provided is exempt. The excess is taxable. Now, question. What is the tax treatment of the excess de minimis benefits? What is the tax treatment of excess de minimis benefits? So we have here amount provided, sabi natin exempt. Yung excess, taxable. How do we tax it? So look at this. If you are a rank and file employee, it is included in 13th month pay and other benefits. So ibig sabihin guys, di ba tatlo yung ating compensation income? Ano uli yon? Regular compensation, supplemental compensation, 13th and other benefits. So dito sa 13th and other benefits pala, i-add natin dyan yung excess de minimis. Okay, ganun yung treatment pala. Now, as to your managerial or supervisory employee, how do we treat the excess de minimis? It is subject to final tax, fringe benefit tax. Sabi kasi natin kanina, di ba? Fringe benefits or benefits provided for your managerial or supervisory employee is tax at final tax. Kaya yan, yung excess de minimis, which is considered a benefit, is treated as part of your final tax, fringe benefit tax for managerial or supervisory. So mag-ingat kayo ha. Tax treatment ng excess de minimis, sa compensation income niya, ilalagay siya dito. While sa managerial, not included in compensation income because it is subject to final tax. Nasundan? So rank and file, included siya dito sa 13th and other benefits. Managerial or supervisory, it is subject to final tax. So last item of our non-taxable. So 13th month pay and other benefits. So these are the amount of your 13th, 14th, 15th, and other benefits. This includes other fringe benefits. Most especially if you are a rank and file employee. Ingat kayo din na. Fringe benefits kasi kay managerial ay fringe benefit tax. So kung rank and file yan, fringe benefits. So what is this 13th month pay and other benefits? 'Di ba kasi nakasali yan, compensation income, sabi natin, 'di ba? Tapos nandito yung ating tatlo. First, we have your regular compensation, supplemental compensation, and your 13th and other benefits. So we include it there. Less non-taxable. So alam na natin kung kailan siya exempt, 'di ba? Sabi natin we have 3 non-taxable. So what are the 3 non-taxable again? So the first one is your retirement or separation pay. Next, we have your de minimis benefits. Ito talagang exempt sila. Exempt. Ito naman yung 13th month pay and other benefits not exceeding 90,000. This is included but at the same time non-taxable. Included at the same time non-taxable. Yung retirement separation or the minimi kasi, hindi na natin siya i-include dito sa tatlong yan. Nasundan? Okay. Pero, tong 13th month pay, dagdag pa rin siya sa compensation income. But at the same time, non-taxable. Sir, what is the non-taxable here? The non-taxable here is the limit of 90,000. The limit of 90,000. So for example, guys, you have your 13th month pay and other benefits amounting to 105,000. What is non-taxable? Limit is only 90,000. So yun yung ibabawas mo. Sir, how about if my 13th month pay and other benefits amounts only to 84,000? Ang limit mo ay 90,000, di ba? So, it's either ganito. 13th month and other benefits is less than or equal to 90,000. The amount of 13th and other benefits is considered a deduction. Okay? But if it's greater than 90,000, the amount of deduction is 90,000. So for example here, you place your focus here. Your 13th and other benefits is 105,000. Your 13th month pay and other benefits amounts to 105,000. So dun tayo sa rule. Is it less than or equal to 90 or greater than 90? 90,000. So how much is your deduction? 90,000. Here, another example. Your 13th and other benefits is 84,000. How much is the amount of your deduction? So, 13th month pay and other benefits is less than or equal to 90, tama? Kasi nga 84 yan. So, the amount of 13th and other benefits is considered e-deduction. So, kung magkano daw yung amount ng ating 13th and other benefits, yun yung i-deduct natin. Nasundan? Kaya, naging deduction sa compensation income yung 13th month pay and other benefits because of this rule. If it is less than or equal to 90, whatever is the amount of the other benefits and 13th month pay, it is the deduction. But if it's more than 90, what is the amount to be deducted? Only up to 90,000 because the limit is 90,000. Okay? 13th month pay and other benefits. I hope we are clear as to this 13th month pay and other benefits. How do we treat the 90,000? How do we treat the limit? Okay, so we're done now with the two items in our formula. That is compensation income less non-taxable, less your mandatory contributions. So tapos na tayo dito, tapos na rin tayo dito. Ito na lang yung natitira, mandatory contributions. So your fringe benefits, I told this one already, rank and file included in your other benefits, managerial, fringe benefit tax. This is just a redundant slide. Mandatory contributions. So what are your mandatory contributions? Take note, mandatory contributions is considered a deduction. It is considered a deduction. So, di ba, compensation income, less your non-taxable, less your mandatory contributions. So what are the mandatory contributions provided by law? So we have your GSIS or SSS. We have your Medicare or PhilHealth. We also have your Pag-ibig or HDMF and your union dues. So why do we call it mandatory contributions? Because under the law, the employer is mandated to deduct an amount, particularly for these items of GSIS, Medicare, Pag-ibig, and union dues. And this deducted amount are considered deduction. So they will be deducted out of your total gross compensation income. Okay? Mandatory contributions. So non-taxable items, mandatory contributions are deducted. So what non-taxable item is a deduction? Yun yung 13th and other benefits. Limit of 90,000. Yun lang yung deduction. Diba? Mandatory cost, yun ay mandatory contributions, yun ay ide-deduct din natin. Nasundan? Okay. So we're done with your compensation income. We're done with your non-taxable. We're done with your mandatory contributions. We go now as to the taxation. So how do we tax your compensation income? They are taxed based on the income tax rates by the train law. And what is that income tax rates? Na-meet nyo na yan. Tax table. Tinuruan ko na rin kayo kung paano i-compute yung tax table na yan. Kung bakit 30, 130, 490 at 2.41 million yan. Kung bakit makukuha natin yung mga values na yan at paano gamitin yung rates na yan. Okay? So I hope you watch the previous video so that you already learn how to create the tax table without memorizing the whole tax table. So let's have an example so that we can make use all of our learnings today. So what is our general formula? We have your compensation income, which includes the three items. Regular compensation income. We also have your supplemental compensation and your 13 and other benefits, less your non-taxable 13 and other benefits, less mandatory contributions, we have your taxable compensation income. Okay. A compensation income earner has a monthly compensation of 65,000. So let's compute for our regular compensation. So 65,000 multiplied by 12. 65,000 multiplied by 12. So we will get this amount, 780,000. You have 13th month pay, productivity-based bonus, rice allowance, clothing allowance, laundry allowance, contributions to Pag-ibig, SSS, union dues. Okay, so let's first classify the items. 13th month pay is, of course, part of 13th and other benefits. Productivity-based bonus is part of your supplemental compensation. Rice allowance is a de minimis benefit subject to your amount provided by law. Tapos yung excess, ilalagay yan sa 13th month pay and other benefits or part of our fringe benefit tax for managerial employee. So clothing allowance is also the minimis benefits. Laundry is the minimis benefits. Contributions to Pag-ibig, that is a deduction. Okay. So what are the de minimis benefits that we have found or noted in the problem? So the following are the de minimis benefits. We have your rice allowance. How much is the amount given? 3,000. How much is the amount which is considered the minimum for your or your maximum as to the minimis benefits? 2,000. So we have an extra of 1,000. So since this is monthly, we have excess of 12,000. We have excess of 12,000. So rice allowance, 3,000 yung nandito. 2,000 lang dapat per month. So may excess na 1,000 times 12, 12,000 yung excess. Next, floating allowance. So we have a amount of 7,000 considered as a floating allowance. So how much is the amount that is only applicable for our de minimis? The floating allowance is only up to what amount again? It is up to 6,000. Very good. 6,000 pesos. So less 6,000, we have 1,000 excess. So here is our excess, 1,000. And then we have also your laundry allowance. Laundry allowance. So for your laundry allowance, how much again is the amount that is applicable as to our laundry? 300, di ba? So 500 yan, 300 lang dapat. So magkano yung excess niyan? 200, tama? Tapos, since laundry allowance is per month, we multiply it to 12. So 2,400. So 2,400. How much is our total excess de minimis benefits? Our total excess de minimis benefits is equal to 15,400. How do we treat this total excess? If you are a rank and file, sabi natin, include in 13th, and other benefits. If you are a managerial or supervisory, subject to fringe benefit tax. So let's assume we are answering for a rank and file employee. We are answering for a rank and file employee. So how much is the supplemental compensation? Productivity-based bonus lang, diba? 50,000. 13th and other benefits. Magkano yung 13th month pay ng ating empleyado? 65K, tama? Tapos, sabi natin, pagka rank and file, isasama natin yung total excess ng de minimis benefit sa 13th and other benefits. So this is 80,400. So how much is our gross compensation income? So how much is our gross compensation income? 780,000 plus 50,000 plus 80,400 will give us 910,400. 910,400. Next, non-taxable 13th month pay and other benefits. How much is our 13th month pay and other benefits? This is equal to 8,400, diba? What is the rule? If that is less than or equal to 90,000, the amount is deducted. The amount, the whole amount is deducted. If more than 90,000, 90,000 is deducted. Okay. Question, 8,400, less than or equal to 90,000 or greater than 90,000? Pasok siya sa less than or equal to 90,000. So, the amount computed as 13th and other benefits is considered as a deduction. So, ibabawas natin yung buong 8,400. And then, ide-deduct din natin yung ating mandatory contributions amounting to 11,000. Okay. So how much is our taxable compensation? How much is our taxable compensation? So 910,400 less 80,400 less 11,000 will give us 819,000 taxable. 819,000 taxable. So pag na-compute na natin yung 819, paano na tayo mag-compute ng tax niya? Balikan natin yung tax table. 819, saan yan pasok? 819, pasok siya sa 800 to 2 million. Okay, so kung 819 yan, anong sabi? If ever 30% of excess of 800,000. So less 800,000, how much? 19,000 times 30%. So 19 times 30% will give us an amount equal to 19 times 30 is 5,700 plus the base amount of 130,000. 130 plus 30% of the excess of 800. So 57 plus 130, how much is the tax due? 135,700. 135,700. Ganun siya. Okay? Ganun siya. That's for rank and file. Tandaan, sa rank and file, yung excess de minimis idadagdag sa 13th and other benefits. Paano naman guys pagka managerial yan? Pagka managerial yan, wala tayong problema. Regular compensation, 780. Supplemental compensation, yung productivity na 50,000. 13th and other benefits. So only the 13th month pay, tama? Hindi natin idadagdag yung other benefits. Yung excess na 15,400 tatanggalin natin. Ilalagay natin yan sa fringe benefit tax. So magkano lang yung 13th month pay? 65,000. Ibabawas uli natin yung 13th month pay kasi nga if it's less than or equal to 90,000, the amount is deducted. If it's greater than 90,000, 90,000 is deducted. So here we only have 65,000. That is lesser. We remove the 65,000. And then the mandatory contributions, 11,000. We have here is still 819,000. So the same lang sila ng total taxable compensation. Saan lang sila nag-iba? Doon sa treatment ng other benefits. Treatment ng other benefits. Okay? So for our next meeting, we will focus on that treatment of other benefits. Treatment of other benefits. How do we tax it under fringe benefit tax? Okay? So guys, I hope na pagtahi-tahin niyo yung way ng pagkakaturo natin ngayong hapon. We started with gross compensation income. What are the items? And then we go with your non-taxable, alin doon yung mga exempt talaga, at alin doon yung i-include pa rin natin. So doon sa tatlo, sabi natin yung dalawa exempt talaga. Retirement, separation, and also your de minimis. Tapos, we also have your 13th month pay that is included in the compensation income, and at the same time, it is a deduction. And mandatory contributions, which is also deducted. Okay, last topic, income tax filing. So how do we file the income tax return of a purely compensation income earner? Alam na ninyo to, na-discuss ko to before. So how do we file the income tax of your purely compensation income earner? We call that your substituted filing system. Substituted filing system. What is this substituted filing system naman? It is the employer who will file the income tax. It is the employer who will file the income tax. So the employer will give 1604 to the employee. So it is the employer who will file the income tax, and the employer will provide 1604 to the employee. Kailan ulit tayo magkakaroon ng substituted filing? If you are a pure compensation income earner, you only have one employer, and the amount withheld is equal to the amount due. The amount withheld is equal to the amount due. Ayan, income tax filing. So that's it for our compensation income. So you just need to determine the items of compensation income, what is exempt, what is deducted, what is exempt, and what is deducted. Okay?